Hey guys, this is Andrew back with you once again for Poker Savvy Plus. This is part 2 of, I'm not sure how many parts, may even be the last part, who knows, you might get lucky, of my 3-betting series. A little bit of a caveat, for those of you who haven't seen like part 1, well, for those of you who have seen part 1, this won't be news to you, but for those of you who haven't, just letting you know, this is an introductory series. If you're looking for someone who can teach you to like bet 1/8 of the pot on the flop and then check raise the turn all in with bottom pair, that's not me. I'm talking about 3-bet fundamentals, just getting you guys started thinking on the right track. This is micro stakes specific. Yeah, just wanted to let you guys know, because I didn't want you to be bored like sitting through this stuff if you already know all of it. Anyway, so we're greeted here by the sight of aces on the button, which is just a beautiful thing. But we'll get to that in a second. I'm using the same format as before of the notepad here, because I'm going to be using a lot of hand examples. So I hope you don't mind. Anyway, this part is going to be all about 3-betting for value. Before you learn to, I know people love, the light 3-bets, and they love sort of getting people to fold pre or fold post, but before you do that, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk. So I'm going to teach you how to 3-bet for value, and kind of how to do it properly and what to be thinking about. Alright, so if we scroll down, I've got a couple of opening concepts for you before we get into the hand histories. I've got actually quite a fair few hand histories for you, which we'll go into. But okay, first of all, the opening concepts which I want to go over before we get to the hand histories. You've heard it said before, I'm sure, many times, poker is easy with the nuts. Okay, so it's always easy to play when you have like the best possible hand. So, for example, here, when we have our aces on the button, it's going to be a pretty straightforward situation to play against non-tricky opponents. But the reason that poker is so easy with the nuts is because you have to really do is just bet and get the money in as fast as you can, because people will, particularly lower than kind of 100 no limit or 50 no limit, people generally don't really pay too much attention to what you're doing. They'll generally just form their basic opinion of how how they think that you play, which is usually completely off base, and they'll call you down with one pair or whatever. Anyway, we'll get into some examples of that. But the main point that I want to get across to this opening concept is that you don't want to play like these tricky, trappy kind of hands. Like I would never flat call aces on the button versus standard opponents, versus tricky opponents. We'll get into that a bit later. I do have a section on adapting to players thinking, but generally against most opponents, you just want to get money in as fast as you can. So yeah, tricky will lose you value in cases, and that's because actually I think I have some notes on that down here. I think it's the next thing. But the reason that this tricky trappy play will lose you value is because you end up playing a much smaller pot than you would have wanted. Aces is 100 big blind hand, obviously,